Hi, this is Kelly. This is the latest episode of CCTV, where we talk all things HR, all brought to you by the Chrysalis crew. I wanted to talk to you today about workplace well-being. And I suppose we've got lots of different strands of that. You've got the physical well-being of your people, you've got the financial well-being of your people, you've got the emotional well-being of your people, and you've got the mental well-being of your people. And I think sometimes we fall into a trap when it comes to looking after our people, in that we think we can offer a quick fix to any of these things, that we can focus on things as a one-off, and that's going to be enough to make everything okay, I suppose. But actually, I suppose the message that I really want to get across today, and I think as part of our role in HR, firstly, not all of these things should be falling to our feet. As with safety in the workplace, everybody in the workplace should be responsible for health and safety, not just your health and safety manager. So when it comes to wellbeing, firstly, I don't agree that all of this should sit within HR, but I think 9 times out of 10, most of this is absolutely falling at our door. And I think when that happens, we need to be doing more, whether it's coaching managers, spending time with employees, speaking to people, finding out about what's really going on. We've got to make sure that whatever we do is more long term. We tend to, when it comes to things like Mental Health Awareness Day, when it comes to Stress Awareness Month, Stress Awareness Week, we put things on. We run events around those sorts of dates. But actually, we're not focusing on as much of the long-term strategies, if you like. We're not looking at enough of the long-term benefits in order to create and drive real change within our organisations. So today, I suppose my plea is that whatever kind of well-being you're focused on for your people, with your people, that it is something that is more long-term. And ideally something that also takes on much more of a proactive approach. Again, that doesn't mean you have to own it all. I think your people, our people, us as people, need to also take some responsibility for those sorts of things ourselves. And if we're not doing that, then obviously, we can become part of the problem. But when I talk about proactivity, one thing I noticed that was missing from the mental health first aiders course, which I think is an amazing course. I think it's an amazing qualification, and I'm so pleased that so many organisations have signed up to it. You can't look at LinkedIn at the moment without lots and lots more people qualifying as mental health first aiders. And there is absolutely a need for that. But I think what's missing from that qualification, and one of the reasons that we at the Chrysalis crew designed our mental wellbeing for HR workshop, is that the mental health first aiders course and qualification was great at saying this is how you recognise some of these things. But what I didn't see any of when I qualified as a mental health first aider was how we need to be more proactive in our approach as employers, as managers, as leaders, as HR professionals, to stop or at least prevent, maybe even mitigate some of these things from coming to the forefront in the first place. So yes, it's great that we can spot somebody that's got depression or stress or anxiety and then go to help them. But what could we be doing as employers to stop it getting to that point in the first place? And not everything is going to be work related. But those areas that I spoke about, physical well-being, financial well-being, mental well-being, emotional well-being, some of those things we can all be doing better at as employers, as HR professionals, to mitigate against some of those things becoming more of an issue for our people. So I suppose in your role, if this is falling to you as HR, speak to your people, speak to them and find out what they need. Have conversations with them and find out what their issues are, or what issues within their teams are. Are there any common themes? What would effective, proactive well-being in the workplace look like for your people? And for some, that may be as simple as taking breaks. That could be yoga, that could be meditation, that could be more fruit, that could be healthier meals in the canteen. But it could also be more education. It could be more support. It could be more flexible working hours. The stress, thankfully, I don't need to be in an office 9 to 5 anymore. I'm extremely grateful for having been able to create an environment where that's not the case. But sometimes when we're working for clients, I absolutely need to be somewhere at a certain time. 9 times out of 10, that involves a 9 or 9:30 start. And so the mad rush of having to travel during rush hour, particularly if I've got to get on a train and head down into London, actually, are there going to be train delays? What are the tubes going to be like? Is it going to be quicker for me to get a taxi? Will I get a seat on the train? All of that kind of panic. Now, if your people, as I did when I was commuting to London every day, if your people are having to experience that on a daily basis, can you offer a bit of flex? Can working time be the time that's on the train? Can there be, do meetings have to take place at 9 o'clock in the morning? I can probably guarantee you no, because at 9 o'clock in the morning, I don't think anybody's in a fit state to be able to go into a meeting anyway, either through panic, maybe not enough caffeine, they've got too much going on in their head already about all of the emails that they've not dealt with or people they've not spoken to. So first thing in the morning is maybe not the ideal time for any of your people, but things like that can help or hinder the well-being of your people. If you've got staff shortages, I can guarantee you that is impacting on the well-being of your people. If you've put communications out there, or you're managing budgets really tightly at the moment, you've got a spending freeze, for example, I can guarantee you that is impacting the well-being of your people. If you're coming up to, whether it's, you might be coming up to year end, there's again certain pressures to deal with that. You might be going into a peak holiday season. There's pressures that are around that. But when it comes to well-being in the workplace, look at your entire population of people. Look at your people as people. Think about all of the things that may be going on for them in their lives, both in work and out of work. Speak to them about what's needed and create or co-create with your people. That would be even better. But create the solutions that are right for them, for your people and for your workplace. I think there are still far too many beg, borrow and steal situations going on within the HR profession. And actually, just because something has worked for one organisation does not mean it's going to work for your organisation. You've got different cultures, different values, different behaviours, different people, different sectors, different leaders, different managers. All of those things, we shouldn't be looking to keep, kind of lifting and shifting when it comes to those sorts of things. So, but when it comes to your wellbeing strategy, wellbeing in the workplace as a whole, again, if that has fallen under the HR remit, speak to your people first and foremost, find out what's right for them. And then if you can, co-create something that works for them, and maybe look at a bit of flex. Is it flexible hours? As I said, it might just be, removing some of the carb-filled lunches that you've got in the canteen. Even things like that can make a huge difference. Speak to your people, find out what's right for them, and don't just look at well-being as a one-off. When it comes to our long-term physical health, going to the gym once a year is not going to cut it. We need to be looking after our physical health on a continual basis. We need to be looking after our financial health and well-being on a continual basis. Our emotional health and well-being, again, that takes a lot of juggling, a lot of managing. And our mental well-being and health, again, there's not a one-term fix for that. There's obviously lots more that we could talk about. You know, you've got kind of spiritual well-being, spiritual health, and again, depending on your organisation, you may or may not be doing something around that already. But when it comes to well-being, don't make it one-off. Speak to your people, co-create where you can, and do something that works for your people, for their best interest, something that works for your organisation. Make it personal, make it right, and make it long term. I'll see you next time.